This is the Nashville 2 podcast with your host, Edward Fox.
G'day, viewers and listeners. It's Ed Fox back with another great episode of Nashville 2, where we tell Middle Tennessee stories about people like you because you're Nashville 2. There you go. That's my tag. So if you know anybody that should be on the show, please have them reach out. They can go to nashville2.com and register to be on the show. And my extra special guest today, great guy, good friend of mine, another B&I buddy, Christopher McClintock. G'day, Christopher. Do you prefer Christopher to Chris?
Christopher, I from a small town.
Yep.
My high school didn't even have 300 in it, but I think there were 15 Chris's. And so I started going by Christopher just to distinguish myself a little bit. So,
right.
I typically go by Christopher. Even in our BNI group,
there's
how many Chris's
are
in there?
Is there 5 Chris's in BNI in our chapter?
I think so. They must all be good guys.
Now, okay, so the first question I normally lead off with is, were you from Middle Tennessee? Are you from this area originally?
No, sir. I am from Northern Ohio. I grew up in the snow. You had to have a Halloween costume that fit over top of your snowsuit, and it would still be snowing when we'd walk to church for Easter, in April and May. Wow. So I'm from Northern Ohio. And once I graduated college in 2000, I kind of did this to a map, thought I would start in Nashville, and I'm still here. I love it.
So you got to Nashville then, what year would have that been?
Yeah, in 2000, I moved down here.
You just said that, yeah.
Yeah,
that's what happens when you get off a plane from Australia and you're not quite there yet. So, folks, as we record this, I've just spent 5 weeks in Australia, and I come back to Snowpocalypse 2024 in Nashville. Where we've had 4 inches of snow and they don't know how to deal with it. So for you, coming from Ohio, me from 30 years in Kansas, that's nothing, right? 4 inches.
Yeah, I'm used to it, but what I found is a city that gets snow just twice a year, it's just not equipped.
Right. They
growing
don't
up,
have
there's a snow plow on every corner.
Yeah.
And places that get salt on every corner. Here, it just doesn't behoove the city to have all that for twice a year. So, So now, we shut down and work over Zoom.
Yeah. And so when you, in Ohio, the particular area you lived, it wasn't very hilly, right? Pretty flat?
Very flat.
Yeah, like
Kansas.
Very flat. Yeah, which is a different thing. You get the big snow drifts and the wind pushing all the snow across. And if you get a whiteout, you don't know if you're still on the road, until you drop, right?
Yeah.
Whereas here.
And then I was up near Lake Erie.
Oh, okay.
So that cold wind coming off the lake, and it just hurts.
Right.
10 degrees there feels way different than 10 degrees here.
Right. Yeah. 10 degrees. It might be 10 degrees, but then you've got minus 20 wind chill factor.
That's the truth, man. So even the winters here, they're not so bad. I can't complain. No. I did my time in the snow, and I don't miss it. Though my son, who grew up here, he just moved to Montana, and he's loving the snow because he never had it. So
and it's like when I got here 3 years ago, people said to me, they said, "Oh, it's very windy in Nashville." I said, "Look, if it don't blow the hat off, it's not windy.
You're okay."
Yeah, and I haven't had the hat blown off in Tennessee for the 3 years I've been here. Okay, so you've been here since 2000.
Yes, sir.
You're a serial entrepreneur. You have multiple businesses. Tell us a little bit about the businesses that you currently run in Middle Tennessee.
Right now, I've had a gym here in Middle Tennessee. We do just personal training and nutrition. It's not a gym you can join anytime and come. It's just for those specific services. And in October, we turned 20 years old.
Oh, wow.
So I've been very blessed, good people that have stuck with us all those times. It's just been a relationship-based business that very blessed. 20 years in, people, after a time or two, people know how to do bicep curls, right?
Right.
They know how to walk on a treadmill. But it's all relationships, and they feel like they're getting good service, but then also, the accountability along the way. So I've had a gym here for 20 years. And then
let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about the gym for a minute.
Yeah.
What led you into the gym? Were you always a guy that liked to work out and stay fit and you just go, oh, I'm going to start a gym? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, I actually in college, I went to Kent State up in Ohio, and I started as an art major because you had to take no math classes, which was my favorite part. Then I found myself sitting in front of a computer screen 12 hours a day, and that wasn't me. I was too active for that. So I switched my major over to exercise science because I always had loved to run. And so I got my degree in exercise science. So when I moved here in 2000, I started, excuse me, I started a gym, and I was actually working for another guy, and that gym went under. And at the time, I was training a CPA and also a business coach. And they said, Christopher, you can totally do this on your own. We'll show you how.
Right.
And I still use those principles today. They showed me 3 or 4 things to do where you'll always be in business. And I still do those principles today. And 20 years later, here we are.
Okay. That's, I've got another podcast called The Edward Show where we talk about business ideas and business best practices. So maybe we need to have you on that to talk about those things.
Happy to.
So you got the gym up and running, and how do you end up finding clients for your gym currently? If it's not if it's not that New Year's resolution, people get hooked into the gym membership and we can never get rid of it sort of thing. If it's not that model, how do people find you?
I read a book called Guerrilla Marketing.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have 2 cents to rub together when I was, 23 years old and starting this thing. I guess I was older than 23, but yeah, it was just getting out, shaking hands, meeting people. I got into a BNI right away. Back in 2003 is when I started it. And just networking. And BNI really taught me how to network and build relationships. And I'm still friends with some of those people today.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting, and they probably hear me talk enough about BNI because a lot of my folks that come on the show are from BNI, but it's not a good fit for everybody. Everybody should rush out and join a BNI group, but those of you that need to network and need to build relationships, BNI, I haven't found a better way than BNI to build relationships in business.
Here's a golden nugget that really boosted my business for someone just starting out. Is I got a hold of every nonprofit in town, and I had a service business, personal training. And I said, when do you have your auction or fundraiser each year for your nonprofit? Can I donate 2 personal training sessions to your auction or fundraiser? One, they were floored that I called them because normally they spend all day calling people.
Yep.
Second, now it's in a silent auction. People are bidding. They're bidding it up. They're bidding it up. So someone who really wants it is the one who are going to get those 2 personal training sessions. 2, they've probably pre-qualified themselves that they can afford our service at the same time. The charity gets the money. We get a pre-qualified client that comes in and wants personal training. Everybody won in that scenario. And so it just took a little bit of time of calling those nonprofits.
And you help the nonprofits, like you said, they got the money, so that's cool.
Exactly.
That is a golden nugget. There you go, folks. That's why you listen to these episodes. That wasn't something that we pre-planned, but that's good information. So, Christopher, you've done that for 20 years, and then you just decided to say, you know what? Let's buy another business. Why not?
Exactly. I was doing also some real estate on the side. I got my real estate license. And I would get these newsletters of businesses for sale as well as real estate. And I saw it's called Comfort Keepers. You can see it right up here.
Yep.
And this business just jumped off the page to me. And so I just started to do my research, and it's just a great way to, again, be a part of your community, feel like you're making a difference. But yet, I love the day-to-day of figuring things out, kind of being an architect of, what's going to work and what's not in a business. And this just got me fired up. After 20 years of doing the other one, I had a general manager who just is fantastic and was kind of running the day-to-day for me. So it just left me, open to try new challenges.
So you've had Comfort Keepers. I know I came to your ribbon cutting after had you had it almost a year or just over a year?
It was January last year when I bought it.
Okay. And then you did your ribbon cutting when? October? September, October?
October.
Yep.
Took me a minute to stop drinking from the fire hose of new information,
Right.
get my feet under me, and then feel like I was good to go. And now let's go have a grand opening. While I feel like I feel good about where I'm at. I'm comfortable now.
Now, tell me what Comfort Keepers is for our viewers and listeners that may not know. What is it you do there? Or not what you do, but what does the Comfort Keepers business do?
Sure. Thanks for asking, Ed. We provide caregivers to people's homes. 89% of seniors in the community in a survey by AARP said they would rather stay in their home than go to an assisted living facility or an independent living facility. So this is a way for seniors and veterans to stay in their home, and we'll send the caregivers to them rather than them go live in an assisted living facility.
Right.
We provide support at home.
So there doesn't necessarily need to be a major, is it non-medical or can it be medical as well?
Yeah, great question. We are non-medical.
Mm-hmm.
So best defined by things we can't do.
Right.
We can't give medications. We can't give shots. We can't do wound care. We actually have some great community partners that will do that for us. But what we can do is be with somebody who maybe they live by themselves and they're a fall risk, keep them from falling. Maybe they need help with meals, transportation, don't want to be alone all day, even down to those that are bedridden, maybe have Alzheimer's, dementia, different things like that. We can be an aid not only to the person, but to the family, provide family relief as well.
Right. Because from what I understand, a lot of caregivers wear themselves out giving care, family members and such, and just being able to get a break, which you can provide as well.
Even there's a name for it, caregiver fatigue.
Yeah.
And it is real. It's I think everyone in their life at some point will be a caregiver or will need caregiving.
Right.
And it's something that we can provide. It'll wear you out and being that caregiver. So it's something that we can provide relief for spouses, families. And we know we're not only taking care of the individual, we're caring for the whole family at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's such a great idea. We've all had family members that we've had to help with, or a lot of us have. And having somebody around that could help us that didn't break the bank. Right. So I know this podcast could last for 20 years, somebody stumbles on it on Spotify or something. So we don't want to be saying prices, but I found your scale of services and rates to be really reasonable, I guess is the best way to put it.
Well, I think so, especially for the value that we're giving the family, and the individual. So but again, it's just a blessing to be able to provide solutions for families when they need some relief.
Yeah. Yep. And so if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, what area do you service in Middle Tennessee currently?
Right now we have 4 areas. So, and we just, we're in the midst of, we just opened a Chattanooga office as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But we are in Nashville, Brentwood, Mount Juliet, the whole Middle Tennessee area, pretty much we don't service Clarksville, but from Clarksville all the way down to the Alabama border.
Okay.
We can do the whole Middle Tennessee area.
That's great.
We have about 70 to 80 caregivers in the field right now going to homes. And so we feel pretty confident that we can service just about any area.
Right. And when does Chattanooga come online?
We actually opened that office day after Thanksgiving. So we had an employee who she was from there and had the itch to go home. And so I told her she can move, but she couldn't quit. She's going to go. We're going to open an office down there, and she's doing a great job building the word down there for Comfort Keepers.
Cool. And then if people want to find you online, what should they search for? What should they look for?
Comfortkeepers.com is great. One that goes directly to our websites is midten, MIDTN comfortkeepers.com.
Okay.
But easiest to remember, comfortkeepers.com. You can
Make
put
it
in your
fun.
zip code and that'll bring you right to us.
Awesome. So Christopher, when you're not working and buying businesses or starting businesses or opening new offices,
Those 2 hours a month, yeah.
yeah, what do you do for fun?
Man, I love being outdoors. I love to trek and run. If you've never been to Percy Warner Park here in Nashville, it's one of my favorite places to go. There's Bowie Park that out in Fairview, Tennessee. I love to run those trails and be out there, take my dog and take my kids, and we just go out there and spend some time outdoors.
Cool. And then I also happen to know you're a bourbon fan. Is that did I have that information correct?
Fan slash junkie. It's a fine line, you know.
Well, I don't think you inject it. I think you sip it, right? So
I actually enjoy the taste of bourbon. Absolutely.
Right.
Here in Middle Tennessee, there are so many great bourbon distilleries. You know, Jack Daniels is just down the road in Shelbyville. But one of my favorites is out in Leaper's Fork. It's a local distillery. It's just Leaper's Fork bourbon, and it's a great distillery. You can go and sit on the front porch and drink bourbon and look at the beautiful sunsets out there.
Were you present at the Dirty Santa gift exchange at BNI?
I sure was.
Okay. So I had been able to find, I've got a barter business. And so we went to South Carolina for conference, and they had a distillery that markets all of their products to us through barter as well as cash. And so I was able, my gift was do you say pecan or pecan?
I'm from the north. I say pecan.
Okay. I say pecan as well. I'm from the deep south, southern hemisphere.
Either way, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So it was a pecan bourbon, pecan flavored bourbon. I don't know who ended up with it, but we've got to find it because I really like that stuff. And I'm not really a bourbon connoisseur, but I did enjoy the taste of that. And I hope somebody's getting good value out of it. You didn't win it, did you?
I did not win that, but I've had that kind of bourbon before. Pretty good.
It is pretty good. Yes. Okay.
I like the straight ahead bourbons that every once in a while you want something, just off the beaten path,
Yep.
pecan bourbon, a peanut butter bourbon.
Oh, really?
One that tastes like rock candy.
There you go.
Yeah,
I probably don't need any of that because I've already got a sweet tooth so bad. I picked up so much of my favorite candy in Australia that I brought back. I've only been back a week or a week and a half, and I've just about decimated it. It's like, my blood sugar monitor's going, hey, dude, like, you're diabetic, right? You're diabetic.
What can you get over there that you can't get here?
A lot of Cadbury stuff that's not made by Hershey's. So Cadbury's was a British brand. That my favorite one though is one called a Cherry Ripe, which wasn't Cadbury's, but it is cherries mixed with coconut. So minced cherry, minced coconut rolled in a dark chocolate. Which is really, really good. And then my other favorite one is a Turkish Delight, which is some sort of like jelly type thing wrapped in chocolate, but fries Turkish Delight. Yeah, and feel free, people, send it to me. I don't mind. I'll take all the you want to send. And then my third favorite one is honeycomb wrapped in chocolate, and that is a Cadbury's brand called Crunchy.
Really? Okay, well,
really good.
One ended up in my pocket at a BNI one time. I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, well, I'll save you some. That's good enough. I'll be there. Oh, hopefully, if we have BNI next Wednesday, if we're not snowed out again.
Right. I hope so.
Okay, so we said what your three hidden gems, folks. If you didn't catch those, were all of the parks around Middle Tennessee, but Percy Warner, and then what was the other one out at Bellevue?
Out in Fairview is Bowie Park.
Fairview. Okay, Bowie Park out at Fairview, and then there's a bunch of distilleries around. Do you have a favorite?
I love visiting the Leaper's Fork distillery. Just because it's beautiful out there in Leaper's Fork. You can watch the sunset, drink some bourbon. It's fantastic. The last park I would love to mention is Harlansdale Park in Franklin.
Yep.
And that's a beautiful place to run. When I lived in Franklin, I used to run there all the time. But I also want to mention I'm helping to direct the Alzheimer's Tennessee walk there in April.
Oh, okay.
And it's a walk to raise awareness for Alzheimer's Tennessee. And it's going to be a huge event. Fantastic. I've put on events there before. It's a great venue, and it's going to be really big and raise a lot of money, for Alzheimer's Tennessee.
Well, that's awesome. Give us some information about that, and I'll put it in the show notes. When is that happening?
April 20th.
April 20th. Let me think.
April 20th.
Normally, we're about 10 weeks out from when we record it to when we get the podcast live. So that might give us a bit of time. So, yeah, get that.
Okay.
Put that in there. And if not, they can look at it for the next year, right?
That's right. We last year, it was at Centennial High School. And while it was a great event, I know the director of Alzheimer's Tennessee had, a vision to really grow it.
Right.
And I didn't see it being able to grow much there at Centennial. So I kind of threw my hat in the ring and said, let me help you out. And we went and met with the parks, and we found a venue that, we could have for a long, long time and grow really big over the years.
Oh, good. Well, thank you for sharing. I appreciate you coming on the show. It's been fun talking about what you're doing and what you've got going on in the community. And folks, if you're listening to this and you go, well, I'm doing some of that same stuff. Well, same, similar, different. If you're making a difference in your community, we want to hear from you too, right? Christopher, we want to hear from them. We want to spread their story and what's important and passionate to them. Speaking of passionate, guess what I got in the other day? For those of you
watching, it's a beauty.
Yeah, so this is my special ed figurine, and he has 101 dad jokes. So this is my commercial, I guess. Has 101 dad jokes in a voice box here. You won't be able to hear it because it's very quiet. But basically, they're a 7-inch figurine. And this guy's koalified. He's carrying his koala. So
I see what you did there. Nice.
Yeah. And then let's see here. I don't know. I don't think you can hear that.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Same place every month after month after month. It's a seriously vicious cycle.
So a seriously vicious cycle. He gets keep running over by the same bike. So 101 dad jokes in 9 minutes. These are going to be the must-have gift for Father's Day. $24.95, folks. I got 1,000 of them. If you want me to sign them, $49.95. Limited edition, 100. But $24.95. Play 101 dad jokes in 9 minutes. Comes with batteries.
Yeah, that's the gift that keeps on giving, man.
It is. I want to be like the fish that we used to have, that now is tucked away in the utility room. And sometimes when you turn on the light, he sings "Take Me to the River."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the fish. I had the lobster that sang "Rock Lobster." Man, I had them all. So now I gotta have a special ed.
You got to have a special ed figurine. So I'll bring some to B&I. So folks, that's my commercial. If you want to buy a special ed figurine, $24.95. Reach out to me via email and we'll get one of those to you. Thanks so much for being on the show, Christopher. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you, Ed. Thanks for having me, brother.
No worries.
This is the Nashville 2 podcast with your host, Edward Fox.